have made it back. Welcome to Beyond Swatches, the long lost channel that just started and took a bit of a hiatus. It was not intentional, but I have a story to tell, so let's go ahead and get into it. Grab yourself something nice and cool to drink. If you are in a hot place like I am, I think it's 92 degrees, but it feels like 104. So it's 104. It's hot. And the humidity is ridiculous. So definitely sipping on some cold water, which I left over there, but that's okay. Let's start with the intro, which I always seem to forget. My name is Tiffany. This is Beyond Swatches, which will soon take on a new meaning, I have a feeling. I guess we'll do a little backstory for those of you who are new and don't know why this chaos exists right now. I started knitting many moons ago, and I guess I've only ever really made items for children. I've made a lot of accessories. There was always a hat and scarf going. And then over time and through the decades, patterns became a thing, and I was always intimidated by them because they just, I don't know, they seemed really hard. And so I tried my very first sweater pattern. It was a knititude pattern, and it was so easy and it was so simple, and I did it. Like, I finished my first sweater and it was so cool. And then I discovered that there was some issues with sizing when it came to other designers. And so I've been on a quest, if you will, not a very noble one, because I'm not the only one who feels this way. Also not a very committed one, because I have not knit that many clothes for myself. But I've been looking out for designers that are not so well known. Think of the Petite Knits of the world and My Favorite Things Knitwear. Those are two designers whose name you hear and you love their patterns. But my goal is to find people who are not so well known and who offer size inclusivity and who have patterns that are easy to understand, or even if they're not that easy to understand, with a little bit of reading and finagling, you can make a nice garment that fits. So that's what I'm doing here. If you wonder where I've been and why I have not been here, I bought my first house, and that was a process that went like this. Like, it was so fast. And because it was going so fast, I didn't have a chance to stop and breathe and explain or think. I was constantly in a covering of prayer. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to hear nothing. I had to get rid of social media. It was driving me crazy. The mortgage company they were A1 until, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and it was just such a process. And if you bought a first-time home, or if you bought multiple homes, you are the real OG, because I promise you, I have said from the beginning, I'm never moving again. I'm not buying another house. I don't want another house. This is it. I am done. But we shall see. So first-time home, when I was going through the closing process, or even probably just the mortgage process, like you got to wait your 30 days and you're closing and the papers and all of that, I said to myself, I want to make things from my house. It just so happened to be that I ran across the test knit for Spotted Dog Fiber Designs. I think that's the name. Sorry if I messed that up, Isabella. But I think that's the name. I'll put the little, name thing. So I happened to run across a test knit, and she had this beautiful kitchen towel, and I was like, yeah, I want to join the test knit so I can do that. And I made the towel. I think I've showed it in the episode before. I will probably put a little screenshot of it somewhere. And I love the towel. It was not a hard pattern. It was just a focused pattern. And for someone who knits a lot of maybe shirts or sweaters, and you just kind of knitting around, and you do a bunch of stockinette, this was not that. You had to pay attention. I want to say that pattern might have been was it an 8-row repeat or 12-row? I really don't remember. But that was what that was. So you had to think about it. You couldn't just do it while watching TV, so that's what that was. But I made it. I did it to pattern. Normally when I have dish towels or like hand towels or even blankets, like I will see repeat 12 times, and in my mind I'm like, nope, I'm just doing 10. But I did the full repeats. I did all of them. And it came out lovely, and I use it all the time. It's hanging on my dishwasher and I love it. So then she had another test knit, and she asked me, would you like to test for this one? And at that time I was approved, and we were like 2 weeks away from closing. And then I'd never packed anything, so we had to pack. And I told her I would do it. I said it'll probably be late because I'm in the middle of this process. And then when I got the pattern, I had to email her back right away. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to focus on this because, again, it's steps, and there's, you know, there's a repeat, and I was not going to be able to focus on it. So I felt really, really bad. But I told her that I was not going to be able to do it, and she said she understood. And as I closed, now I'm in here, she did the sweetest thing and sent me the same pattern with all of its corrections or whatever as a housewarming gift, and it was so sweet. And so I have it on my list of things to make. But once I moved in here, if you've moved, you know what I'm talking about. There were boxes everywhere. I could not function in the chaos. So I was not able to sit down and actively knit on anything because every time I sat, I saw a mess that needed to be moved, picked up, assigned. And everyone knows in my family, I have control issues. So they wouldn't do it without me knowing, except for their rooms, of course. But you know, I needed to know where stuff was going. It needed to make sense to me, and I couldn't make anything make sense because everything was everywhere. And the chaos of the boxes was driving me insane. And I have a smaller, it's weird because I have more cabinets than I had in my old place, but I have less counter space. And because of that, I don't know where to put everything. I have big appliances. You got your Instant Pot, and I have 2 of those, and I got a mixer and a rice pot and an electric griddle and the thing and the thing and the thing. And there's not enough space for all this stuff. So it was stressing me out. I'm like, I can't have a kitchen with all this stuff in there. Where am I supposed to cook? How am I supposed to cook? So needless to say, when I finally got everything away, she had another test knit going, and that's what I'm working on now. Now, because I'm doing this off the top of my head, I do remember that she said it was a secret test knit, which I believe it was, you can show like snippets or whatever. So I decided I'm gonna show you the back side. But this is what the back is looking like, right? And it's all white. It's that Lily Sugar and Cream cotton. I found this I was moving and packing, and I found this giant cone of white kitchen yarn in the box just sitting there. I don't think I've ever even used it. I might have made 1 washcloth. I don't know, but it was a blessing because I'm using it now. So that's what I'm working on currently as a test knit. It is, I want to say I'm on repeat 10 of 12. So I should be finished by the end of today. I think it's due tomorrow, and as I always do, bump up to the last possible second. That is definitely me. So we'll finish that today. Oh, before I forget, you see my little things? I think I showed these before when I first bought them. Aren't they cute? They're little needle stitch whatever stoppers, so you can put your knitting on there. They're just adorable. Anyway, that was from Fox and Pine Stitches. I have these, the avocado. I got a little hexagon, pink ball. I have a daisy. I treated myself with a gift card I got from work, so you know. What's next on my list of things that I'm actively working on? I'll put a screenshot of the pattern itself. But if you remember, I had ordered this Pearl Soho yarn And I wanted this linen quilt so bad because it was just, I don't know, it's a coveted thing you just want it. So I finally got a hold of it. I had finished a half and half wrap out of something else. I told myself I couldn't do another half and half wrap, that it was just too much. I didn't want to do another one right away. I decided to make a 4-points blanket. But something I did was wrong. Oh, I used bigger needles than the pattern recommended. And rookie mistake, bigger needles means more yarn. And so I ran out way before I ever made it through the first triangle. So I caked it, I took it out and I caked it up. And so this is, well, this is 2 cakes because that's how much I made it through, and I only had 3. So I went ahead and decided, let's try to find a pattern that uses the same weight of yarn that I can wear. This feels pretty soft. I don't think it'll be uncomfortable. I've heard that when you wash it, it becomes softer, so that's what I'm hoping for. But I went ahead and started, it's called the Vaga tee. I cannot remember the person's name, so we'll just have to put that on the screen. But it gave me ranunculus vibes. And I love making the ranunculus, and I wanted to make another one, but I felt like, let's find a new designer that you don't know. So I don't know if this person is very well known or not, but I didn't know her and I like the pattern. So here it is so far. It's in a, what is this color? I think it's called peony pink. And if you can see, it does have some short rows. So this is the front. But if you can see, it has all of this detail in there. And I just love that it was so cute. These, can you see these? These little dot things. There's a stitch in there. I don't even know if I can tell you. It's not cables. It's more like slip some stitches, wrap the stitches, slip the stitches, knit the stitch. Like it's a lot. And at first I was like, what in the world are we doing here? You know? But I managed to get through it, and I actually learned to love it. So in the pattern, she tells you to use a cable needle. Did she say use a cable needle? I think so. Use a cable needle. A lot of people do use a like a spare DPN or double pointed needle. I didn't have neither of those, so I used this. And all I ended up doing was just sliding the stitches on this, and then I would hold it and wrap the yarn around, and that was it. And it worked just fine. So now I'm at the point on this thing where it is, I think I'm on the last 2 knit rows before you make the armhole splits. So I'm very happy. This is on a, don't let me lie, I got the needle right here. I want to say it's a size 3. So size 3 needle and skinny yarn, you feel like you're knitting forever. Because the yarn that I used before this was a Noro yarn, and I used the same size needle, but that yarn was a little bit thicker. So it's so cute. And I think I'm gonna love it. I have not tried this on except once, and I was still at the yoke. So it'll be nice to see how this comes out. So that's my very active, I'm trying to get it finished before the end of this month. We got a special occasion, want to wear it there. We'll see how hot it feels. So that's the Vaga tee, and yeah, still loving it. Now the next thing on my list, not 100% sure what I was thinking, but yes, Audrey? Yes? What do you want? Well, excuse me. All right, so now the next pattern that I was working on, or that I picked up, I don't even know how I ended up here. I'll tell you how. I think I know. I was scrolling through Instagram and I ran across a post, and this lady made the souffle tee by Penrose Knits, and I've always loved her, but that ruffly thing, I didn't think it would look that good on me. So I was just like, I needed to find someone who has like a t-shirt with a mohair situation. And so I ran across in my wish list on Ravelry a pattern by Friday.knits. And I have loved her patterns too. I don't know why I have not bought or made them. I think I felt more intimidated because some of the techniques are, again, I don't like to think that much when I'm knitting, especially because these are supposed to be projects that make me feel good and all that stuff. So I was not in the mind space for difficult or learning, but I wanted a shirt with some other form of technique other than just short rows or lace, you know? So I found the Eloise top. We'll put a picture. And I love this top. The problem that I think I ran into when it came to the patterns by Friday Knits is I don't remember if I saw enough plus size people in them. So I was a little iffy on whether or not it would fit. But then I told myself, but you know enough about constructing a garment that you can finagle this if you need to. And usually my only area of issue is in the waist, because my waist is smaller, like my underbust area is small compared to my full bust. So technically there's an hourglass in here. It's just covered by all of that, you know, mid-afternoon sand. So it's really difficult. So it's like I almost need an A-line shape, but these patterns are designed straight. So I just know instinctually just add some increases across under your underbust, you know, once I get there. So I got the pattern. And when I opened the pattern, I was like, this is definitely not a advanced beginner. This is an intermediate pattern. But I said I'm going for it. I'm gonna just go for it. Let me see if I can find you real quick. Well, we'll show you the part that we started with. So it starts with a provisional cast on. And that was the first thing where I was like, I don't want to do a provisional cast on, but tell me, you want the shirt, right? So you're gonna have to just make it. Just deal with it. Whatever it is what it is. So I did the provisional cast on. I got the stitches casted on. They're on here. It starts with like, you know, your purl row and your knit row and your purl and your decrease and you're doing good. And then it said, let's do the popcorn stitch. That's those bubbles that's all across the top. So I went ahead and I did what I thought was a popcorn stitch. I'm still a little iffy on whether or not I did them correctly, but there they go. I don't know if you can even tell, but there was like a wrapping situation. I don't know. I'm about to take this out because I don't think I did it correctly. And somewhere in the pattern there are video links. So we're going to stop before I get too far gone. And we're just going to take out the last two rows, get rid of the popcorn thing. And I'll start from like row 4 or 5 or wherever I am. So, but the yarn that I'm using, I happened to order this. Do you remember a company called AliExpress from like 20,000 years ago? They're based out of China. This was a long time ago. And I've had this yarn since I don't even know how long. But it's called Diamond Mohair. Now, I have suspicions that this is not real mohair. Can't prove it. I don't know how I would know. I'm sure some of you out there might be able to tell me, do you burn it? Do you flicker it? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure this is not real mohair, but it's fuzzy, so it serves its purpose. And then I found in my stash some pink yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it's just been sitting there because I only have 3 of them. And for a sweater in that size yarn, like a fingering weight, I usually need 4 to 5. So I never knew what to do with it. Well, the top of this shirt is in mohair and the bottom is in regular yarn. So I figured this would be a perfect way to get rid of it. So we're going to try that. we got to work out this popcorn situation because, whoo, it is definitely, it's tricky and it's finicky on this little fuzzy situation. So yeah, that is pretty much all that I have. At my housewarming that I had last week, I wore my Easy Eyelet Yoke Light by Knititude. I made it out of that Fiber Natural organic cotton, or cottonwood, I think is the name. It was called cottonwood. It's since been discontinued, but I still got a blue and I still got a green. So we're going to use that and probably make another, because it then too was 100 and something degrees, feels like, outside, and I felt amazing. I was not hot, I wasn't too tight. You know how sometimes your knitwear can kind of pull and you're doing all of this, and I had none of that. I was so comfortable. I was bending, stretching, lifting, serving. I was doing all the things, and I felt really good. I felt really comfortable, and I was just happy to welcome all of my friends to my new home. And I have no furniture, so if you wonder why there's an echo, that's why. I also just found out, if you heard that, I don't even know if it went off more than once, because I hear it but I don't. My smoke detector apparently needs a new battery, which I thought was kind of weird because we just moved here, so whatever. But yeah, so as far as the channel goes, Beyond Swatches will more than likely start to encompass some of the things about being a new homeowner as well, because it is always about the knitting, but my life is more than knitting, and I am not one for wanting to create another channel. So I will be sure to let you know in each video what the intention is, or you should be able to tell by the title. But I feel like because I have all this land out here that I want to experiment with gardening. I've been watching a lot of videos, trying to get ready. I can't really do anything, so they say, until like August. And I live in North Carolina, and our clay is red. I mean, our dirt is that red clay. So it has a lot of stones in it. You can't really do nothing with it. You got to treat it. You got to add the thing. And it's a process. And since I don't know nothing about the process, I'm a city girl living in the country now. I have to learn how to effectively grow some vegetables. So my intention is to make a nice garden with usable produce so that we can cut down on the grocery shopping. But I also want some decorative flowers and just to feel good sitting out there. So that's the intention. Will it come to fruition? We will have to wait and see, but I hope that you come along, stick around for the journey. Because it is definitely going to be filled with some trials and errors, tons of errors, I'm almost positive. But I should be coming back to you in a couple of weeks with my top finished, because like I said, I think I'm near the end, so I should be good. And that is about it. It really is now just learning to live in this new space, appreciate the beauty of nature, because it is gorgeous. The view is what I fell in love with, and that's why I'm here. I have so many places where I intend to put my little yarn corner and just knit and be at peace, and I'm loving it. I really, really am. And now that I'm here, it's real. Because you were thinking about it when you're scrolling through Zillow, but now that you're in here, it's like, oh yeah, you need to fix that. You need to put that up. You need to do that, you know. So it's a surreal time for me. But I'm very, very happy. I feel truly blessed and truly grateful. And I have great neighbors. They moved in 2 weeks after we did. And they are so helpful. They're so helpful. Like, they have been, just helpful. Helping me with understanding this house thing. And just really, really nice people. So I'm very happy. I hope to see you again. I'm sorry that I haven't seen you in a while, but follow me on Instagram, because every once in a while I do put a post up when I'm feeling, you know, fancy free or whatever. So I hope to see you again, but thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that great stuff. Because like I told you, I just bought a house, so we're going to have to get to that 1,000 so I can start making some extra money. So help a girl get there. All right. Love you. Bye.